While every broker and financial market is literally going completely crazy, you could have passed your prop firm challenge in the last couple of weeks, made 10, 20, or even 100% on your accounts just by following not only our brand new launched kind of six-figure trading coach Copier system that we've just got going on now, but also the trades we've been calling in class, using the management that we go over step by step by step of how to best profit in this kind of just absolutely chaotic market. Hi, my name is Jenny Baker with Six Figure Trading Coach, where we're showing you that trading is as easy as you make it on yourself. Trading and investing is not that complex, but it just takes kind of finding the right community to be able to help you gain that skill set. And that's why we have the community that we're growing currently on Discord, where our insight as a team, right, not just my own, equals your evolution, right? It equals you getting to your next level in life. That's it. Gaining the skill set. So if you guys are finding this content useful or helpful in any way, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, if you have any requests, concerns, or things that you would like to talk about or want me to go over, by all means, put that down there in the comments below, and we'll do our best to make a video on it that may be able to help you, again, get from where you're at to where you want to be. It's that time of the month where we are going over our 4-hour public swing trading experiment, which has been going really well. So I'm kind of excited to go over this with you. Again, amongst all the crazy broker things. So before we get started, let's start with the beginning, which is don't trade what you can't afford to lose. Pretty simple. I don't care where you get the trade ideas from, whether it's Google, Elon Musk, the guy next door, me, or anywhere else. Please don't be investing any amount of money that you're not willing to lose 100%. Whatever that number is for you, that amount is too high if you're not willing to lose it. Obviously, this is not considered legal, financial, or investing advice, and trading is high risk. You can follow similar things with safer, slower, different methodologies, even, things like, futures or what have you. Tons of different options you guys have at your fingertips. Just make sure that you're managing accordingly and you're taking ownership of the decisions you make. Every day, 20 times a day, 20 times an hour, maybe more, the broker topic is just going crazy. We know MetaQuotes is just on a manhunt. We know potentially the SEC has got some stuff going on. I have said this in my communities, and I'll say it again here live on YouTube. Please, set up in a relationship, set up an account with as many brokers as you can, have actual money funded in there. There's no guarantee that the whole grandfathered in situation is going to work or save you or me or any of us from what is coming in terms of all the MetaQuote license stuff and the brokers and the unregulated stuff, but it may help. So this is my link tree. These are all the brokers that for the most part I'm using. It has been just a witch hunt from back and forth and back and forth. I have a few others that I'll be adding shortly as well, just because people do need to diversify. But I'll say again, please make sure you guys are setting up real accounts with as many of these brokers as humanly possible. And that's on brokers. That's my link tree. That's everything you need to know. Before we go any further and go look at the trades we looked at 2 weeks ago, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we've got a few new trade ideas for you tonight, we have officially launched our six-figure trading coach Copier. It's going really well. As you guys can see, the first few weeks I was still kind of working on another system, so I wasn't really trading too much on this platform. But needless to say, we've grown over 8% in a very, very short amount of time. Our average accuracy currently is 90%. And the best part about this system is you don't need a VPS. You don't need to have your system running. You don't need your platform up or your computer. You literally go onto the website. You can determine your risk. You can link it completely hands-free, and it's all done for you. Obviously, there are no guarantees. You cannot do that. I cannot do that. Every trade taken in this account is a 0.5% risk to give you an idea. You, of course, can double that or multiply it as much as you want and or decrease it as much as you want. Going off of stats like this, though, this literally would have passed some of y'all's prop firm challenges just in the last 2 weeks. Hands-free. Literally nothing else. Nothing at all. No extra anything, no figuring stuff out, which I think is kind of awesome. So there's that. I did put my link tree on there. That's where you'll find that. It would be under the members area of the Patreon account. Here's the FX book attached to the same account. You guys can see that. It's all there. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Not in love with some of the win-loss ratios, but that's because we're kind of scaling out and all that other good jazz. But overall, I'm excited. This is the first one to launch. Here shortly, we've got a couple of EAs as well that we're going to be showing people how to use from a practical standpoint and how to monetize that, again, practically, right? EAs, copiers, they work if people would stop over-leveraging them and stop pushing them beyond their limits. So really excited about that. And then here coming after that, we also have an auto trader, which will be using an EA to help multiply people's money. And it's just all Nervous, but also really, really cool things. Nervous about the broker situation more than anything, but otherwise super excited. So let's go take a look real quick at how the trades have done since we've got started with this whole 4-hour public experiment. And then, of course, we've got a couple new trades to look over tonight as well. Okay, so here we go. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't know. So this was in May of 2023. I said, hey, let me help public people, anybody, see that trading is not that complex. It is not the strategy. It is not some golden, literally, golden nugget. There's not some secret key that's YouTube viral and friendly and woohoo, going to change your life. It's not. It's picking a strategy that is sound and accurate enough that you can manage, and creating management that works with that strategy, and doing that over and over again in a very boring, systematic, duplicatable way. So what we did was we came on here on the 4-hour time frame. We did not cherry pick. We looked for the best setups, around news to the best of our ability. We predefined the management in advance. So in advance, I think we allowed a couple of weeks to kind of, hey, let me get my bearings on this 4-hour chart. Let me decide what's best in terms of long term. And other than that, we've been pretty stable for many months of where our stop loss is, when we're protecting, okay, how we're protecting, and how we're managing the trails and the trades throughout the duration of the trade, which is pretty much always the same thing. So we're using the Jenny's Golden Strategy, that's JGS, right? We have a custom-made indicator that gives you lot sizes and stop losses and the whole nine. Helpful, and of course a whole host of other tools as well. But we're doing this on the 4-hour time frame. In our private group, we do this a little bit on smaller. We do it on indices, more expensive instruments, for example. But overall, it's the same thing. So our stop loss is always at structure, which is typically a couple fractals back. I always add a 1 ATR cushion. That's how I trade. My stop losses are far enough out of the way that no one's touching them for the most part, unless I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, obviously they're going to get touched. When I'm not wrong, they're not going to get manipulated very often. Take profits. I am big on scaling out of a trade and actively managing my trade throughout the duration of it. Meaning, how do I maintain an 80-90% accuracy? I'm in the low 90s most of the time and have been for years. To maintain that long term is hard. It's, not everyone can do that, right? The only reason I do is because of how I manage my trades. So yes, as we come into what I would call take profit 1 or my areas of interest, I'm always locking, scaling, or trailing that trade. How you choose to manage it is going to be ultimately up to the tools you have at your disposal and your level of comfort and skill set, right, in terms of trading. But ultimately, you are always protecting your profit, scaling out, locking, trailing, or closing within 25 to 50 pips, or protecting within 1 ATR. For those of y'all who don't know about ATR, we said 25 to 50 pips. So no matter what, you're doing that. So as long as the trade moves in your direction by that amount, in theory, you should have won most of or all of your trade if you're managing accordingly. Again, that's all predefined. So since May, you can kind of see the good, the bad, and the ugly. Please know the anomalies. This is an index. That's why there's so many pips here. There's also an exotic. That's why there's so many pips here. The index is worth a whole bunch. The exotic is worth a whole lot of little per pip for pip, depending on your broker that you're on. But you get the idea. Overall, again, that's an index. It's an exotic. You guys get the point. So we had this nice little stream of losses in December. That was fun, but it's also real trading. In all of these weeks, we've only had one actual losing week, and depending on how you managed, may have been a break even, give or take. It's about how much you're risking in your lot sizes per trade, etc., but it does happen. Everything else, documented, live, public on YouTube, they're there. Go take a look. Not to prove Jenny right, but to prove what you can accomplish if you stick with something long enough, right? If you stop trying to jump, and reinvent the wheel. There's a new strategy, there's a new tool, there's a new process, there's a new this. Find one thing. It doesn't have to be this thing, but find one thing that works for you and keep letting it work. Put it to work. That's it. So let's see. On February 6th-ish, that's a Tuesday night, we come to the charts. We looked at these 3 pairs. Gold, of course, performed pretty well. We were just looking for that first impulse of a move. We got it, plus some, although it did continue to the downside. Chef pairs all finally moved, except for CHFJPY. Again, beautiful move. Perfect impulse, retest, and continuation. Lots of money to be made on that, depending on how many entries you took. Moved great. GBP odd, on the other hand, had a pretty big structural stop loss, plus that ATR pad equaled a pretty big pip count in terms of a loss, right? We did make a new high, but currently we're sitting back at entry, so we might still get the continuation of the play on that. Either way, this analysis was wrong, right? It knocked us out. It was not the right direction, at least not ready yet, especially given the fact that it's been 2 weeks now and nothing has happened. So we're going to go analyze those. I'm big on the whole, a lot of people, will show you a great trade and swear up and down that this is what it is, but they never review it. So I love going back and reviewing my old trades. I find where my weaknesses are. I find where my strengths are. I've learned how to capitalize on those strengths. Still working on avoiding some of those weaknesses or improving on some of those weaknesses, right? But that's the process. And then systematically, duplicatably what to expect and how to go back yourself. So tonight we've got 3 new trades on the table. A little apprehensive about using US dollar. We've got some pretty big news tomorrow that tends to shake the market, but we'll see overall and give this the opportunity to play out per the strategy, again, predefined, and see where this lands in 2 weeks. That's it. The definition, it's already defined. There's no ands, ifs, ors, or buts about it. And of course, before we jump off, we're going to take a look at this square that says we made over 17,000 pips. That's not bad. Our average win to loss ratio is a 3.6 to 1 in terms of full pip counts, and then realized is 2.86 win to loss. Definitely not a bad way to be. If you had invested $500 and only risked 1% per trade, you're up 143%. Definitely not bad. If you had invested $5,000 and you were doing 3% risk per trade, to give you an idea, that's a down payment on a house. That's all of your credit cards and your car paid off. And it's just that next level. People are treating this like a gambling machine. They're treating this like so many things. And they're not looking at this as an investment, as once I make this money, how do I set up my life to the next level? That's it, right? What next am I going to invest in to have the next level of passive income, or to duplicate, or to make my money make babies, right? That sort of concept. But as you can see, $10,000 original investment, 1% risk, that's definitely not a bad way to be. That's assuming you took 100% of the loss. That's assuming you took one entry. Some of these, you could take multiple entries on that direction. And here's the last thing I'll say before I jump off. In 63 trades in a couple of months, this could change your life, literally. And no, this skill set doesn't come easy. To some it does, but it takes some time to master. It takes a lot to master, especially to stop over trading. But here's the reality. If you failed at this by 90%, by 50%, which means you only do half as good as what we're doing here live, public, and on YouTube, you can still make enough money to go put a down payment on a house. A little hard in this market. Interest rates suck. But, I mean, $30,000, you fail at this by 50%, you still have $30,000, only risking 3%. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. So just something to think about. So let's go real quick, take a look at the trades. Remember, we're going to be reviewing these 3, and then we're going to be discussing these next 3. Okay, so let's take a peek real quick. Please note this is a different broker. Of course, I had to update my old versions and all that other good stuff. I am no different. I had the same problems as everybody else. So we have 3 trades on our system that we looked at 2 weeks ago on the 6th, right? At 2100 in the case of gold, or 2000 in the case of Forex. So on gold, remember, we predefined those rules. We know that the ATR on this pair is about 65-ish pips. So this moved a little over 2 ATR, just slightly around 2 ATR, give or take. And of course, it tanked. So had you managed the way we discussed managing, you got some pips out of this, you got some profit, and you went on with your day. Overall, not the best of trades, not the worst, but that's why we manage the way we do, right? We're going to remove this from our board. First, we're starting with all the reviews. We're going to take it off of our watch list, and now that one is done. Now we're going to go over to Odd Chef. Man, the Chef pairs performed beautifully. We were playing off that double bottom, had divergence. This was our 4-hour trade idea. We made our impulse, retested, and continued. I think we still have a little bit more room for those of y'all who are still holding some of this. I still have a very tiny amount of a position left, still capitalizing on this buy personally. But either way, make sure your trailing stop is locked. You got a lot of pips out of this. Don't know where you got in, but if you're managing like my community, the 120-ish pips, right? You would have got your first entry, scaled out of some of that position, took another entry, and then on smaller time frames, taken multiple entries all the way up. This trade is worth a ton of money when you learn how to actively trade it, right? It's just a beautiful way to be. So we're going to take this off of our watch list. I'm going to clear the board, nothing else on here, remove. And last but not least was GBP odd. We were looking for a sell. This was close. It was already cutting it close. We made our nice little impulse. We had a nice little retest. I can zoom in a little bit to show that a little bit better. beautiful retest, had our nice little railroad candles, was looking for this to continue to the downside. We got a baby continuation because, again, we're predefining this. This way it can't just be another YouTuber with, some hype. This did move 25-ish pips, which kind of does match the criteria. We didn't hit close enough. I also did not protect enough quick enough to get out of this trade. But yes, we say protect within 25 to 50 pips, always, no matter what. So this did push up. Here was our level. This did push up beyond 1 ATR and structure. So this hit full stop loss. In my case, I didn't even scale out or trail out any of this trade. Just real trading. No fun. Since then, of course, we're back at entry. We would have moved plenty enough to get our couple of, ATR here. And we're still sitting above the next higher time frame 50. So we'll see. We'll see if we get any bit of a move to the downside or not. I think we still have some liquidity down here to grab. It just wasn't ready yet. So taking that off of our list, we are in seller's territory right now. It's not a bad way to be. And we're going to clear the board. So today being Tuesday the 20th, right? We've got 3 new trades on the table. I'm trying to keep it to 2 or 3. Even in my morning sessions, I'm taking less trades, hoping people track them a little bit better, hoping people take this move, know how to take the first entry and take multiple entries all the way up versus getting, starstruck looking at 58 different things. Because when you're wrong, cool, you usually get your first take profit anyways and you're getting out with net positive or a, slightly break even or above kind of trade. And when you're right, you get all of this money to be made. Great way to be, right? Very, very small percentage of the time are we actually hitting a stop loss? Are we actually getting knocked out entirely? That methodology, I think, works really well and has the potential to work well for a lot of people. But let's go first and foremost. AUDUSD 4-hour time frame. We have this beautiful trend line we did break through and retest, not just once, but also twice. We're currently sitting below the next higher time frame 50, and we've already retested that pretty well. We do have a nice little railroad formation here. Most recent 2 candles are bearish for sure. We're in buyer's territory though. So big picture, can this pull down more? Yes. We have FOMC tomorrow, so if you want to take this trade, please know you're protecting it very quickly, right? You're definitely protecting it very quickly. But overall, I'm looking to clear some of this liquidity to the upside, looking for a really easy 100, 200-ish pips, even just to come up back into this range. Better yet, on a bigger picture, let's go in a little bit more. This is a nice big wave, another big wave, just looking to retest into here. Not a bad way to be, great risk to reward overall. So, to stay true to form, we're going to get our line on the candle prior to the one that we're on. So that's on 220 at 2000 UTC time. We're going to get our green, exactly where price is at. And I'm going to take these trades as well at the same price. Actually, I already have one entry on AUDUSD as well. I'm going to take another one. I take these trades as 2. There you go. That's AUDUSD. It's highlighted. We've got it marked up. Remember, you're always protecting within about 1 ATR or 25 to 50 pips for those of y'all who don't use ATR. Your stop loss is at structure plus a 1 ATR pad. If I put fractals on here, here's one, here's one, here's one. I don't think this qualifies, but we could find out real quick together. Let's find out. I think it just conversation purposes. It does. This is 1, 2, 3. That is 3 fractals back. This one does not qualify. So just to give you an idea of where that's sitting. Overall, not a bad way to be. It looks like a really easy trade for me. We broke the trend line. I wouldn't be surprised to see a pullback. We do have big news, to trade it carefully. Anything can happen, obviously, with the news. Definitely has some longer term sell side potential. But for now, I'm just looking for that intraday move to the upside. So we'll see how that plays out. That's AUDUSD. CADJPY, we've got our first 4-hour trade idea in a hot minute. We're looking for the continuation on that same thing. This one has a lot more room, a ton of liquidity. We're going to put our vertical line, the candle prior to the one that we're on. We're going to grab our horizontal line. We're going to put it exactly where price is at, and I'm going to go make sure I take my entry as soon as I'm done making this. Oops. Better get them colors right. We're looking for a sell here. In this red for a sell. Solid line, enter now. Double click so I can't accidentally manipulate it. Overall, the risk to reward on this one is stinking gorgeous. So if I zoom out, even if we're only coming into this first few levels, you're still over a 3-to-1, 4-to-1 risk to reward trade. Now, mind you, we have a lot more below this. I just think it's going to take some to get it there. This drop we saw so far was just CAD bad news. So it's going to take, this is all the CAD bad news did. It's going to take some to get us much, much lower. A lot more than I think maybe we have at this time. Overall, though, where price is currently sitting, coming up into this range, you're already at 500-ish pips. And long term, I'd like to see us break down quite a bit further. Not to say it's going to happen, but easy couple hundred pips on this trade. Easy, great management. You can use structure plus an ATR pad, and that gives you plenty of pip room. So that's CADJPY for the sell, 4-hour time frame, JGS signal, manage accordingly, and ta-da! Last but not least is CHFJPY. If you're inside of our community, you know this pair has been trying some nerves, and today it is no different, my friend. So, the risk reward is not as good on this one, mostly because you see where price is sitting. So we're kind of lower mid-range of a very high level of major structure. Can you use the most recent 3 or 4 fractals? Yes, but in my opinion, that's a little bit too close. Again, I like my stop losses further away. I like to know they're not easily manipulated to the best of my ability, right? If that means I have a lower lot size to accommodate the bigger stop loss, it means my stop loss is, my lot size is smaller, which is also helpful to my margin and my leverage and my availability. So it's a win-win, at least in my case. Needless to say, I'm looking for a sell, looking to break at least these levels. So to kind of give you an idea of where we just marked this up, looking for the sell on CHFJPY that is potentially over leveraged on one pair. You've got hundreds of pips to the downside. And again, similar to CADJPY, I think this has a lot more sell side room than that, but still looking for that really easy 200 to 400-ish pips. That's going to be 266. Give you an idea. And all the way into here, not even breaking previous lows, you've got 500 to 600 pips. So this is a beautiful trade. Now, mind you, if we see this, others see this huge amount of consolidation, be prepared for a potential sweep or a swing. Because that's what they're going to want to do. If they are going to drop this by that many pips, they're going to want to take out as many people along the way. So trade that accordingly. And big news, often initiates big kind of nonsensory in the market. So be careful as always, but you should be. I hope that you guys are demoing these. And for those of you who are, I'd love to know what your results have been. Have you been managing close to or exactly like we've discussed? How much are you up? How much are you down? What's your accuracy overall? Have you doubled down on any of the trades or taken re-entries on any of the trades? Or what's happening for you if you are testing this with me? Because we're making these YouTubes in an effort to show people that trading is easy. It's just not simple, right? It's a very easy thing to do. It's just all the little parts that are not simple. Like right now, the broker stuff, definitely not simple, right? Not simple even in the slightest. But trading itself is not that. It's really not. It's going to come down to your management, your self-discipline, your personal growth, if you will. Because it takes a lot. We've heard people say that trading has been the biggest self-development thing they've ever done because you learn so much about yourself in the world. It's absolutely crazy. It is absolutely crazy what you're going to learn about yourself, about the markets, about the psychology of money, the psychology of the world, right? The mood of the world. Because that's what this is. These are whole world currencies. This is. So with that in mind, we've got 3 beautiful trades. I would love to hear how they're going for you, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because I just want people to know that it's not just video game money. It's not just the pocket options. It's not just on a screen. This goes to your bank account, often through crypto or through, different brokers have some new bank systems that are allowed, but it's still, this is real money. This is what we're doing on this chart. So I hope you're treating it that seriously. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or pairs you want me to analyze, by all means, put them in the chat. Otherwise, happy Tuesday. Take care and God bless.